What's up, guys, and welcome to the first video of 2024. What we're going to be doing in today's video is ranking all of the drift tuning cars that has came with the most recent update. It has been a couple of weeks since the cars actually came out, so I think it's the perfect time to give my thoughts on the cars and stuff like that. All my opinion. So if you guys don't like the list or have something to say about it, you're definitely welcome to say that down in the comments. But this is just my rankings of all the cars. So let's get straight into the video. In last place, we have the Drift Yosemite. The reason why this thing is in last place is because it lacks in that speed department. You can still get very, very good drifts with it and very good tandems with it, but it lacks that certain speed that I kind of like in the other cars. And as well, it's a truck, so it's a little bit big and obviously hard to fit into some smaller spaces that these other cars can, but it's still a really cool truck and I really like it, but it's definitely on the last place of this list. In the seventh slot, we have the Drift Tampa. Now, this is based off of the Kent Block Unicorn, which looks amazing in the game. I really like it. But the performance wise of this car is really, really good. It has a higher top speed than stuff like the Drift Yosemite, and it is a little bit smaller. So it can fit in more places, unlike the Drift Yosemite. The car is really, really good, and it's definitely way better than it used to be. Number 6 on this list is the Fudo GTX. I don't have a lot of seat time with the new drift tuning in this car. I basically only have it in the stock form, and I actually really like it. I would say it's definitely better than the Hoonigan vehicles because this car already on low grip tires is pretty good, I would say at least. So this car is basically destined to be pretty good. So that's why it's on this spot. Is I just like how it drives, I like how it feels, and it definitely deserves to be here above those other cars because it is smaller, so you can fit it in basically anywhere and have a good time with it. So number 5 on this list is the ZR350. This thing is really, really good. Definitely better than it was before. The handling is 10 gajillion folds times better. Yes, I'm using random language now. But this thing is crazy. It can hold a lot of angle. It can do basically whatever you throw at it. And it is very, very nice to drift overall. I think anyone would say when getting in this car that is definitely way better than what they did in the tuners update, and definitely is well deserved because I know people really like to drift this car, uh, or wanted to drift this car at least, and I know some people probably did with the tuners update, which is something I literally could not do because I did not like how this thing drove until now. So I would say this is an absolute win for the drift tuning here. Number 4 on this list is the FR36, or as the real life name is called, the G35. This car is really, really good. Well, it does lack some angles at times, and it does like to feel like a little bit heavy at times. The car still is really, really good, in my opinion. The car is great for tandeming and is great for street drifting or whatever you're doing. It's very, very malleable. You could definitely use it. So, in my opinion, it definitely does deserve this spot on this list. Number 3 on this list, the car that I don't even need to say the name, you should know it immediately, the Remus. This thing is super, super good on low grips, and it is really, really good with the drift tuning upgrade as well. This car is very, very good for tandeming, even though sometimes you can get a little bit over angle with it. It is still super, super good. And I don't have tons and tons of seat time poured into this car. Definitely more on low grips. But this thing, even from me being able to like drive it a little bit, it is definitely really, really good and definitely one you guys should be owning. Number 2 on this list is the Euros, the 370Z. This thing is honestly amazing. And if I was to put it up against the final car, they are really, really close, but I have to give this thing second place. The only reason is I don't have a lot of seat time again in this car, especially when it was in the low grip phase. I still drove it, I still liked it. I just didn't like it as much as the next car. And this thing overall is super, super good on the drift tuning. Don't get me wrong, it is definitely better, but it is definitely a second place car in my opinion, but it can definitely rival the next car. So, guys, the final car on this list is the Jester RR or the Mark V Supra. I think this thing is really, really good in my opinion. This thing just has the best handling, the best performance in my opinion. I'm going to say my opinion because there's some other cars on this list that people definitely really like. But to me, this thing is just so good. It was good on low grips, it's good on the drift tuning, and it is the car that made me more realize the drift tuning as an option and stuff like that. Because I was definitely a little bit way too harsh on the first day. You'll know if you were in Stevie's Discord on that day. Yeah, I had some opinions about that. But enough about that. This thing is just a beast, and although the Euros can definitely hold its own against this car just takes the icing on the cake for me, personally. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. The list in this video was mostly my opinion on what I think of these drift cars. And as well, I got this type of video from Stevie. So if you guys do want to see his list, you can go on his channel.